Okay, dude, you ready?
I know words. I have the best words.
If you got to see my India vlogs, then you would have got to see my guru, Shyam Sundar Das, or we call him the Jungle Baba, or sometimes we call him just the Baba. The Baba took me and a group of my friends and a group of other Babas to this ancient temple. In the middle of nowhere, there's just this beautiful temple that's just built into the side of this cave and this mountain, and there's sadhus just hanging around out there. There's smoke and hash, and it's just almost like this just exists out here in the middle of the jungle. Like, what? Side note, this jungle is the jungle that inspired the Jungle Book, that movie. So I spent some time doing my thing, exploring around the area, climbing the temple, and the Baba was sat up on this platform, like a stage almost, and we all climbed up there and sat around him, and he just was talking to us very casually. Just in the middle of his conversation, he looks at my friend Michael, who's taking care of Ram Dass right now in Hawaii, and he says, "Michael, your name, Haridas." Haridas. Haridas, Hare is the name of all of Vishnu. It's Krishna, Ram, all of these names are summed up in Hare. Hare, Hare, Hare. So Haridas, Das means servant, servant of God. And then he looks at me and he goes, "Your name, Ganesh Das." Ganesh? And he looked at me for a second and he goes, Kalidas? You choose. I was like, I'm not choosing my name. That's not how this works, playa. You give me the name you feel when you look at me. So he sat there for a minute. I walked away, came back, and he eventually settled on Gajanan. Gajanan. Gajanan is another name for Ganesh. A little Buddha-like guy with long dreadlocks that just lives in a cave in the jungle. Obviously, this is the kind of teacher that's going to manifest itself into my life. Maybe it's the poet in me, but when I look at reality, I can see how language makes everything up. How this whole existence is created through language. I see existence made up of symbols, and I can see the usefulness of these symbols, and how if you understand them, you can manipulate reality. So if you can surrender to a symbol, whether it be like a mantra, a guru, nature, whatever it is for you, whatever your symbol is that makes you feel tuned in, if you can surrender to that, your reality will shift. And hopefully whatever symbol it is you are surrendering to, hopefully something good, it will reality reflect that back to you. Like, for example, if you have any angry people in your life, look at the symbols they use to represent their life. Look at the way that you two, both you and them, can look at the same symbol and look at the way that they perceive it because of the way that they are attached to that symbol. So if you can find a symbol that you can consider divine to surrender yourself to, then you will become aligned with that symbol. Does that make sense? That's what taking a spiritual name is. And to be given a spiritual name by a saint or a sage or your teacher is like, it's a beautiful thing. It represents your soul. It's giving your soul a name. I think when we can surrender, we can see ourselves clearly. We can see ourselves through a heightened prescription, a more aligned prescription. And when I think of surrender, I think of being in service. A lot of us here in America, in the West, we don't like the idea of being in service. I don't want to be a servant. I'm a student of Ram Dass, and there was a time where Ram Dass asked Neem Karoli Baba, his guru, he said, "Maharaji, how do I get enlightened? What do I do to become enlightened?" And Neem Karoli Maharaji said, "Feed people and serve people." And to me, this was his way of delivering the message to Ram Dass, the same realization that I had, that we are the servant. Our place in this universe is being the servant, being in service. All my Hare Krishna friends, they all say, "I'm the servant of the servant." And that's like the most powerful spiritual position that you could be in. Being the servant of the servant. And this right here is the essence of Bhakti Yoga. And what my guru teaches, what Ram Dass teaches. And of course, Gyan Yoga, the yoga of knowledge, is always going to be important. But to me, what I see knowledge being a stepping stone leading you up to the top of the mountain of realization, the top of the mountain of devotion. All the knowledge that you are gathering is just a rationalization of your ego being able to identify with that surrender through studying and through language. Knowledge, it just goes back to knowledge being nothing more than symbols that we are attaching ourselves to eventually get to surrender, to eventually get to our reconnection with God. This earth is not in service to fulfilling our desires. Human beings, you, me, we are here to be in service to the earth. We are the only ones that are guiding the fate of nature as we know it. So not only is our place literally as the servant to this realm, to this planet, but when do you thrive the most? We thrive the most when we are being compassionate and loving to one another, to ourselves. When we are being in service to the tribe, not this abstract capitalistic competitiveness that sort of drives us away from each other. I don't know how I started talking about capitalism, but having symbols like Gajanan Das, my name my guru gave me, is like it's useful for us to break these boundaries, to fuck off all of these attachments, because we have a symbol to surrender to. That's what I'm trying to say. And that's the importance of having a spiritual name and taking initiation from someone that you trust. Of a meaningful story that really helped me attach myself to this name was my mom was going through a rough time while I was traveling throughout India, and my grandma was really sick and she passed away, and my grandpa shortly after, and my mom recently went through a divorce, and she kind of just had the curtain of truth pulled in front of her, you know. And so I wanted to buy her something, and so I wanted to get her something nice from India that she wanted. So I was like, Mom, Mom, what can I get you from India? What do you want? Like a gift. I can get you pretty much anything here that you want. I don't mind. And she said, bring me home a little Ganesh. My mom, not once in my life has my mom ever said anything about Ganesh, let alone Hindu anything. You know, maybe, hey, bring me home a t-shirt, bring me home a magnet, bring me home a Ganesh. My mom doesn't know anything about Ganesh. Still, to this day, she couldn't tell you what Ganesh represents. And Ganesh represents the remover of obstacles, overcoming obstacles. So it's very auspicious and coincidental that that's the image that she manifested and what she wanted in her life at that time. And I told the Baba the story. I was like, my mom, you know, it's funny that you give me this name, because my mom told me to bring her home a Ganesh. And he just pointed at me and he smiled. And my mom cried. And I told my mom this story and she cried. And while we were leaving this temple, Krishnadas looks at me and he goes, you know, there's a very respected sage called Gajanan Das that lived, and he was a Chilam Baba. He used to smoke hash. I thought that was funny, because the Baba kept making weed jokes towards me, and I never once smoked anything in front of the Baba, so I don't know why. I guess he could just look at me and single me out. I hope you liked that video, and I hope you can understand why somebody would take initiation from a teacher, and maybe it can help loosen some of the weirdness about it, right? I don't expect anyone to call me this new name. This is more of just for myself. But and shout outs to Koi. Koi just got his initiation into the Ramakrishna lineage. His Swami teaches at the LA Advaita Vedanta temple. If you ever want to go hang out there, I've been there. Me and Koi actually were at that temple when Donald Trump became president. That's where we were at. Me and Koi were sitting at this temple learning about God, and we walked out and Donald Trump's the president. So it was, I'm happy to see him also on the path and taking it serious and living life. And the rest of you, thank you for watching. Subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and if you want, you can follow me on stuff and whatever. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Om Shanti, Shanti, Om.